Let's make a web page using DreamWeaver. DreamWeaver is a program that can be used to make web pages. In DreamWeaver, you don't have to know all the codes that are used to make a web page. You simply type just like you were using Microsoft Word or any other software that you might make a document in, and DreamWeaver will make all the codes for you. So let's start with a very simple page. We're going to close this over here, just shrink it down. And DreamWeaver has quite a few areas, lots of different things, and we'll learn how to do most of those things. So right here what we want to do is just write a web page. Let's say we were writing a web page about a fun thing we like to do. So I'll say downhill skiing. So there's my heading, that'll be my heading, and I'm going to write a couple sentences about downhill skiing. So there we go, we have a heading, and we also have a very short paragraph of 3 sentences. So right now our web page pretty much just looks like text, but actually if we were to click on View and then click on Code, we'll see that DreamWeaver has actually made a whole lot of codes for us already. It has our HTML code at the top, our head code, our title section. Right now the title of this page is Untitled Document. It's got our end head, body. It made our heading into a paragraph, and it made our paragraph into a paragraph. Plus it begins a brand new paragraph underneath that. There's our end body and our end HTML. So all the tags that we would need for our web page are right there. Let's go back to Design View. This is pretty much what we're going to get when we open it in Internet Explorer or any web browser. So let's do some formatting. Let's start with the heading. Let's center that. And to center the heading, we go down into our properties and we click on the center button just here, Align Center. Now that'll be in the center. We can also tell the computer, instead of making this a paragraph, to make it into a heading style, like heading style 3 or heading style 1. And you'll notice this changes instantly. What we see right here is what we're going to get. DreamWeaver is what's called a Wysiwyg Editor. And I'll type that out. What you see is what you get. Wysiwyg. It's just kind of a quick way to say what sort of a program this is. Okay, how about if we want to put in a horizontal rule? So we're going to click right here. Suppose we want a horizontal rule right here. We're going to simply click on the horizontal rule button, and there it is. Let's put another one immediately underneath the paragraph. We can just click at the end of the paragraph or underneath the paragraph. Either one probably works about the same. And there's another horizontal rule. How about making a link? Well, let's make a link to Google. Now this is fairly different from what we might do using a text editor like Notepad. Click here to try to open Google. Of course, that opening Google will not work if we're not connected to the internet. So if we want this to be a link, we highlight whichever words we want to be the link. So I'll highlight this entire thing. I'll just hold down the mouse button and pull over. And then in this link box just here, this is where we write the complete address that we want it to go to. And this is very much the same as we would have done with our text editor. So we're going to write http:// so that we connect to the internet. Then we write the web address, so www.google.com. Now as soon as we move our mouse back onto the page and we click, it makes it into a link. Now that link doesn't actually work yet, and we'll see how to make that work in a couple minutes. We haven't saved this page yet, so this would be a good time to save it. We go to File, Save, and then it's opening us in a strange folder, so we're going to click here on this arrow, or we could click in the white area. We're going to go to My Computer, then our home directory, that's the one that's got our username, then into our computers folder, whichever computers folder we have. We'll see all the other web pages we've already made, and we'll use the same sort of file name that could be used in Notepad. So 2010 01 27, let's call this fun activity 7 for 7th hour, and then our username. We could add .htm here so that it saves as a HTML document, but actually DreamWeaver will automatically add that. So while we could put it there, it actually is probably a better idea not to put it there so that we don't make mistakes and accidentally have a mistake in that .htm. Okay, let's save it. When we save it, you'll notice in the blue title bar of DreamWeaver that it says the folder that it's in, and it also has the file name. You can't quite see the whole thing. You'll also notice the title is just here. Right now it's Untitled Document, and you can see here's our title box. So if we change this to Skiing is Fun, that'll be the name of our page, or the title of our page, and we save it. File save. Now we can see Skiing is Fun is just here. Now how do we open this up in Internet Explorer? Well, that's a good question. And in one of the menus here, there's probably a way to open it. I believe it's just the F11 key or the F12 key. I'm just trying to find what button will show us F11 or F12. Okay, I don't see it here. So, just going to press the F12 key and see what happens. That's on the top row above the backspace key. It opens Internet Explorer, and it opens our page into Internet Explorer. Now we can check the link. So I'll click on the link, and it works. Okay. Now here's something a little more interesting we could do. Suppose we wanted to make a link to one of our own pages. So we'd write, this is a link to one of my old pages. So again, we can just highlight, and if we're linking to one of our own pages, we can just click on the folder, and we can find which file we want to, which page we want to link to, which of our own pages. Now, we would not want to link to this one, because that's the one we're already looking at. But we could link to this one, or this one. We'll just link to this one. Click on the page, file save, and again, it won't work by double-clicking on it. But if we press the F12 key on the keyboard, it'll bring up Internet Explorer, and there it is. And that link works. So that's pretty good. Alright, what other things that we've learned to do in Notepad could we also do in DreamWeaver? Well, we could bold words. So how about the word available? To make that word bold, we simply click on the B for bold. And there it is. That's all we need to do. How about italicizing a word? How about we italicize the word people? So here's italic. Press the italic button. Down just here, it'll show that the word people is inside the body, it's inside of a paragraph, and it's inside of an emphasis tag. Emphasis is very similar to italic or I. If we double click on available, we'll see body. It's inside the body tag, it's inside a paragraph, and it's in between strong tags, and strong are similar to bold. So I'm not sure what the major difference is between B and strong, or EM, emphasis, and I for italics, but they look the same here. How about color? Now this is pretty impressive because it's very easy to change color. So it's easy to see. I'll highlight this word that we already have bold. So now we're going to change the color of this word to red. Here we go. We move our mouse down here and there's a little square. When you put your mouse on the square, it'll say text color. You click once and you'll get a little palette of colors. So I'm going to find red. It's just there. Click on it and it puts the number F0000 in the box and it changes the color to red. Now we can't see that until we click, and there it is. Now at any point we can go back and look at our codes. We just click on code and there it is. Font color equals quote number sign FF0000 quote bracket. Scroll over just a little bit. You can see the N font is right there. That's strong, which is the same as bold. We can see it begins here and it ends there. Our links, we made a link to Google. It's just there. And our link to our own web page is just there. Alright, let's go back to our design view. We'll call this the design view. So now let's learn how we can change the background color for our page. This is in Modify. Click on Modify and then you go to the page properties. We could also hold down the Control key and then press the letter J. Up will come the page properties and we can tell the computer what color to make the background. So we click here. Maybe we want the background to be dark purple, something like that. We can press Apply to see how it looks. We can also change the color of the text. So let's change the text color to like this one here. Apply. And if we like that, we can keep it. If we don't like it, we can change it. That looks okay, so I'm just going to press OK. And so now we have a different background color and a different text color. One thing I noticed is that now our links are hard to see. We could also tell the web browser what color we want the links to be. So we go to Modify Page Property, and we could change the link colors. For example, before the link is clicked on, it could be yellow. If it's already been visited, that website, it could be green. And if someone's actually holding down their mouse on top of the link, we could make it like this color just here. So we'll press Apply, and you can see that it changes already. We can click OK. We should save our page, and then we'll press F12 to bring it up in Internet Explorer to see if the links work or not. Notice they're green because we've already visited both of these pages, but if we hold down the mouse, it turns into that pink, which is called the active link color. Okay, what else can we do? Well, we can also put in pictures. So I'm going to press Enter, and we're going to insert a picture right here. Now this again does take a few steps. First we need to find the Insert Picture button, which is just here, or Insert Image. We click on it once, and DreamWeaver is expecting that we have a picture in that same folder where our page is. But since we don't have any in there, we have to look someplace else. So we can go on the internet, find a picture, and paste the address into this URL box, the location box, or the Universal Resource Locator, or location. So let's find a picture. So we're going to go back here. Let's do a file save and F12 to open our page. And now we're going to go to Google and we're going to type in skier or skiing. And we'll go to images. We'll make sure it's on strict filtering, which it's already on strict filtering. And there's a skiing picture. So we want this picture on our page. We click on it once, we click on it twice, until only the picture shows up. There's the picture. Just like we would have done with Notepad, we need to copy the address of the picture. We just click on the address, then we right click, and we go to copy. And then we can minimize this one. Okay, now we can't just paste the address. We'll see what happens if we just paste the address. The address just shows up. So that's not what we want. So I'm going to undo, edit undo. What we want to do is put this into an image tag. So we press image, and where it says URL for Universal Resource Locator, we erase whatever's in there by pressing the backspace and delete keys. Then we can paste the address just here. The full address will go into that box, and if you use your arrows you can see the full address is there all the way from the HTTP to the end. And DreamWeaver will write skiing.jpg just here. Do not change either one of those. Click on OK, and DreamWeaver will show us a small square which represents where the picture is going to be. It won't actually show us the picture if the picture is on the internet. So let's save that, and then let's press the F12 key, and here's our web page, and there's the picture. Now that picture is pretty big. We can change the size of the picture, and here's how we do it. We click on our image tag, and you'll notice there's all sorts of image properties down here. So we can tell it the W or the width. Let's make the width 200. And then we click on the page, and it shows an image tag that takes up 200 pixels wide. From here to here is 200 pixels. Now we can save it and refresh it. Oops, sorry, we don't refresh it. We press the F12 key. F12, and there it is. When we press F12, what we're really making is just a temporary file. So the old temporary file looked like this, the new temporary file looks like this. So each time we make a change, we press the F12 key. We could also on this picture change the height of the picture. We could make the height, say, 100 pixels tall. But if we change both the width and the height, we might not have the same sort of picture. And I'll show you what I mean by that. If we press F12, okay, now the picture is squished. Okay, here's what we had before, and here's what we have now. So it's more squished. We could even change that to 50 pixels tall. So now the picture, even though we would want it to be still looking good with the same ratio as we had before, now it's going to look really squished. So we have to click and save it, press F12, and here's our brand new picture, so it's really squished there. Now to get rid of that squished look, we can simply get rid of one of these numbers, and then the other number will come up just automatically. The computer will automatically figure out how tall it should be if that's the width. Now here's another thing we can do. We can put a border around the picture. So let's put a border of 5 pixels around the picture. Let's save it, file save, and then press F12. And there's a border of 5 pixels. It's hard to see. Let's try a bigger, thicker border. Oops, apparently I didn't actually type it in there. Well, let's start with 10 anyway. We'll type 10. There's a border of 10. We can see the 10 border here. File save, F12. There it is. There's our 10 border. Now let's look at links again. Suppose there's a ski area that we really like. So some people like to ski at Bittersweet ski area in Michigan. We can make these words into a link. Even though they're not somewhere else on the page, we can make those words right there into a link. And here's how we do it. First we save the page, then we can press F12 to bring our page up. You can see there's our sentence right there. Now we're going to search the internet for Bittersweet ski area. There it is right there, Bittersweet Resorts Snowline. And after a few seconds the website should come up. There it is. We're going to copy this address, copy, and we're going to make these words right here into the link so people could click on these words to go to that website. So first we highlight the words that we want to be a link. We go to the link box. We either type in or we paste in the address that we want it to link to. We click back on the page, and now this is a link. So let's see how that works. File, save, and then the F12 key. And we can see it's a link because it's underlined. We can click on it, and it brings up the Bittersweet ski page. So that's pretty nice. Another thing we can do is, instead of having the pictures down at the bottom of the page like this, we can put the pictures right in the paragraph. So this is how we do that. And I'm going to close this box here so we can see it better. I'm going to grab this picture just by holding down on the mouse key. I'm going to pull it upwards, and you can see where the little vertical line is between the G and the A right there. I'm going to put that just here in front of the word skiing. I'm going to let it go. So the picture moves up in front of the word skiing. If we save it and then we press the F12 key, it's going to look like this. There's a lot of space just here, but we can force the web browser to move the words up and around, and this is how we do that. We click here, bring back our properties, and we're going to tell it to align itself, and I'll pull this up so we can see it better, to align itself on the right. I'm sorry, the left. When we say align left, the picture stays on the left and everything else kind of slides up on the other side. So let's save that, press F12, and we can see how that looks kind of better. Here's the comparison. So this is before we aligned left, now we align left. We could also align on the right hand side. So click on the picture, change the alignment to right hand side. Now the picture's on the right hand side of the paragraph and the links. We can save it, and then we can press F12 again, and there we go. So we've done pretty much everything. We have created the web page. We have a title in the title bar, a heading at the top of the page. We have changed the background color and the text color. We could change the color of individual words. We can change them to italic or bold. We can put in horizontal rules. We can also make links to either websites or to our own pages. We can even put links in the paragraphs like this. And we can insert pictures, change their widths or their heights. We can put borders around them, and we can even position them on the page.